Yes, for those of you who've noticed, I've got my new Tiger Woods mock polo on. You don't know if I'm ready to play golf or if I'm about to introduce the new Apple iPhone to you. So, I have a confession to make.
These are my confessions.
I am feeling a little bit lost in my golf game. I guess that's not really much of a confession since most of you down that lens know I'm trying to figure this out just like everybody else. But I'm not completely lost like the TV show. I'm more like Harold and Kumar going to White Castle. I know I'm eventually going to get there, but I've got to go through some less than enjoyable adventures on the way to the destination.
Well, you better get hungry real fast, because I got a whole lot of sandwich waiting for you. Yeah.
So what's making me feel lost, you might be asking? Great question. So my scoring averages remain stagnant, my ball striking has started to slip, and the changes I want to make in my golf swing seem so small that I question if they're really going to move the needle. But trust me, it's not all doom and gloom. I've been here before, and I'm confident that I'll find my way back. So let's talk about that right now. Thank you very much for tuning in to my YouTube channel. My name is Kenny. Some of you may know me as Kennie Kat. I am a competitive golfer. My goal is to help you improve your golf faster by learning from some of my successes and also some of my failures. If you want to know what training aids, what practice guides, and what things I'm working on with my instructor that could possibly help you improve your game faster, hit that subscribe button below. I release free content every single week. Since my new clubs won't be available until another few weeks, I decided that I would do myself another Kennie Kat corner. I decided to call these Kennie Kat corners because cats like to hang out in corners, and that seems to make sense to me. Especially since you all down that lens told the YouTube algorithm that you'd rather hear me talk about golf than actually watch me play golf. Can we just talk about strike for a minute? I thought I'd been flushing the ball, but apparently I've been hitting it out the toe like I'm Cristiano Ronaldo playing soccer and shooting a goal. I know 40% of you watch my content from outside of America, so don't even come at me in the comment section with that. Kennie Kat, it's not called soccer, it's called football. The point is, my strike has shifted so far towards the toe of the club that my brain has actually started to interpret that feeling as a flushed solid strike. And when I went into my fitting at TrueSpec, I couldn't for the life of me find the center of any club. In fact, when I started hitting the drivers that we were demoing, I hit one square out the middle of the driver. I'm talking about dead center, 0 millimeters, and it felt like it was almost out the neck of the club. See, to me, that felt like it was dead out of the heel.
Dead where? Out the middle?
That felt like it was out of the heel.
It's dead center is just high.
I had to put it down. I was like, because clearly, my brain doesn't know its ass from its elbow at this point. And of course, in classic golfer fashion, after about 10 or 15 of these bad shots, I looked at the club fitter, my boy Eric, and I was just like, you might want to check your machine, bro, because this can't be me. I felt like a fat guy that shows up to the doctor's office and you step on one of those old school scales and the doctor's sliding that little thing and it's going all the way up to like 300 and you've got those shifty eyes just looking around like, I don't know how that happened. But then your doctor's sitting there with like just a stained face and his clipboard, like, you know exactly how this happened.
I can't stop eating.
Even though I understand that strike is the most important fundamental, I haven't been practicing it. I used to routinely use foot spray to check where I was hitting it on the face. I went through so much of this stuff that the cashier at Walgreens probably thought I had mushrooms growing on my feet. So exactly how bad are we talking? Well, I've got a couple of clips here from my fitting at TrueSpec, and I'll just throw those in right now. As alarming as that may look, the reason I'm hitting it off the toe is because I'm raising the club handle at delivery. And I'm no golf instructor, but I am an expert on my own swing, and if I happen to set up to the club and the ball's right here, and at impact I raise that handle like this, that means I'm going to be hitting that bad boy right out of the toe. Make sense? Which leads me to my next point about my swing. So what is going on with my golf swing? Nothing. It's absolutely gorgeous. Kurt even said it so himself.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Down the line, there are a lot of good things that Kurt likes to see in a golf swing, but don't take my word for it. Let's hear what he has to say about it.
Just giving the down the line view. It's looking awesome. Setup lines look good. Takeaway looks good. Love where the face is at here. Hands, if I was being nitpicky, hands are getting just a little bit out away from us in the initial takeaway instead of staying a little bit closer. But we get to a really good spot at the top. Like where the shoulders are at. Again, you can see here the hips just not rotating the way we want to yet. And then as we come down, club's coming down, a really good spot. Really good delivery position. Love where the face is at here. Oops. Change it to the lines, face, and your spine. Really, really nice. Now this gives us the ability to rotate. That's why you're hitting it so damn straight. Really good exit. Really good shoulder plane coming through here. Really good finish.
But when it comes down to that face-on view, let's just say it was kind of like that time when you were at a party and you saw what you thought was a beautiful woman from across the room from a sideways view, but when she turned around, she started to look like this. And then you just casually faded away into the back of your group and acted as if that never happened for the rest of the night. Yeah, that's kind of what my swing is doing. But again, don't take my word for it. Let's see what Kurt has to say about it.
Overall, Kenny, like a lot of the things I see going on. One thing, again, as we still try to improve trail hip, we want to load that better still. So we're getting in there, seeing this trail hip get a little bit high. Starting to lose some of the knee, kind of losing towards the lateral portion of our foot. As you can see, this foot kind of start to creep out, going this way, knee kind of breaks down this way, hips start sliding. Now our torso is a little bit kind of here, right? So I go ahead and draw a line on your pelvis and your head, and we draw a straight line through the middle of those two. Our spine is tilting still too much toward the target, which is causing the hips to get out of the way a little too early. And right there, see that right hip jumping out. Start to lose some of the angles, start to lose some of the hands as we go down into impact. Start to get the shaft a little bit more stood up here more than we want to. Body starting leaning back a little bit more than we want to.
As you can see, Kurt thinks it's my hips, which I absolutely hate hearing about, mostly because it's something that I struggle with in my golf swing, but also because I hear it 3 days a week at the gym every time I go to the gym. Load your hips, Kenny. Get those hips under you, Kenny. Load into those hips, Kenny. What is this, a 90s dance move?
I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip.
In case you don't know, Kurt is a strong believer in proper setup and good body fundamentals. But unfortunately for Kurt, I've become just confident enough about my own knowledge of my own swing to challenge him, even though I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I ultimately just end up doing what he tells me to anyway.
If you don't answer me when I speak to you, I'm gonna put my foot in your ass. Is that clear, dummy?
I've actually got into the habit of preemptively telling Kurt that I'm going to be a nuisance on his lesson tee, as if that makes it better. It doesn't. And Kurt, if you're watching, since you're probably watching, I apologize in advance for all the shenanigans that I may or may not pull on your lesson tee, but I love you and I appreciate you for dealing with my crazy antics. Long story short, the club is coming in too steep through impact, and I need to find a way to shallow it by a few degrees in order to get that face, let's get my club over here, in order to get that face from being this way and get it a little bit more delivered, a little bit more shallow. And I know that sounds simple in theory, but the problem is when I start taking my internal focus away from my feet and my hands, start thinking about things like my hips and my shoulders and my head, my entire swing falls apart, and it takes a very long time for that to become normal. And I've got tournaments that I want to play in the next couple of months, and I don't really want to be out there looking confused like Bambi on ice. I'd imagine being a golf instructor is like this. Like, could you imagine if Kurt was like a plumber? He came over to your house because you had a leaky faucet. And he's doing his plumber thing, you know, he's got his plumber crack out, he's under your sink just wrenching around and stuff. He comes out and he says, hey, it's going to be $200 to fix this leaky faucet, we got to replace whatever O-ring. And you as the homeowner is like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. I'll give you $200. Let's get started right away. But right before you give him the money, he's like, oh, just gotta let you know, one quick thing. Just so you know, if I fix your leaky faucet, your AC might not work for a couple of weeks. And of course, you as the homeowner are like, whoa, wait, what? It's the middle of summer. I can't go without AC for a few weeks. What are you talking about? But that's golf, right?
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be.
With that being said, I am 100% confident that Kurt is going to help me get to my destination eventually. It just may not be in a car that has AC in the middle of summer, in the middle of Arizona, which is a desert.
Remember your pressure points.
Which leads me over to my scoring average, and my scoring average has been stagnant at 84 and some change because I haven't been working on my fundamentals. And part of the reason I'm doing this video is to share with you that it's okay to be lost. It happens to the best players in the world, but we have to have the courage to be honest with ourselves about why we are feeling this way, and sometimes hold up that mirror and look at what we are or are not doing that is causing us to get off path from where we want to ultimately go. So for me, I'm going to get back to working on my strike every single week just like I used to. Even if that means I gotta be at the cashier's aisle in Walgreens with like 50 cans of foot spray with people behind me in the checkout line looking at me as if I've got some kind of incurable foot odor. And who knows, maybe I can use some of that foot powder spray. Dr. Scholl's Odorex, the Odorex stuff, the one that's got the all-day guaranteed odor protection. There's like something in this can that like adds an extra thick film that really sticks onto the club face. I don't know how good it is for feet, but man, it really works great for strike. It's kind of cold on the feet. We've gotten way off track here. I'm still working with Phil Kenyon's Putting Academy, and that's already started to show some great promise. I'm going to consistently commit to the decade principles, which I've talked about in another video. I'll throw a link to the description somewhere up here in one of these titles. And most importantly, I'm going to get out and play more golf. Shocking, play more golf. What a novel idea. I wonder what I could do to get better at this thing called golf. I got an idea for you. Why don't you just play more golf? Problem solved. Send me a Venmo for $49.99. I've solved all your shanking and slicing woes.
Life is good, but it can be better.
Seriously though, I remember when I first started this channel, I was playing 9 holes every morning, and now that the sun's up at 5:15, I just got to get my butt up out of bed and go get in 9 holes of golf and then walk the course and kind of get my bearings back. It definitely is something that honed my skills because it allowed me to practice so many different areas that you just can't really get while you're on the range. The process may be simple, but the work is never easy. But again, if it were easy, everybody would do it. That's really all I got for you down that lens. As always, thank you very much for watching my YouTube channel. Deuces, people. Let's keep it.